Hello and welcome to Wanies Academy. Today our subject is English language and our topics is verbs. These are the aims and objectives of this lesson. Now by the end of this lesson, you should be able to do the following. The first is to define a verb. The second is to identify different types of verb. The third is to use verbs correctly in sentences. The fourth is to distinguish between regular and irregular verbs. The fifth is to conjugate verbs in different tenses. Now let's just jump into the lesson. What is a verb? Now, a verb is a word that shows action, occurrence, or state of being. Now, for action, we have running, eating, writing, swimming, sleeping. These are all verbs in the action sense. For occurrence, we have become, happen. These are all verbs in the occurrence sense. For state of being, we have is, are, seem. These are all verbs for state of being. Now let's jump into types of verbs. We have different types of verbs. The first and the most common and most popular type of verbs are action verbs. These verbs express physical or mental actions. They express someone doing something that you can see or something that's going on in someone's mind. For example, we have write, think, jump, dream, swim, sleep. These are all action verbs. Linking verbs. Linking verbs connect the subject of a sentence with more information about that same sentence. Examples are is, are, was, were, seem, become. These are all linking verbs. Now, the third and most also a very popular type of verb is known as auxiliary verbs. They're also known as helping verbs. They help the main verb to form a tense or voice. Examples are have, has, had, do, does, shall, shan't, will, can, may, might. These are all auxiliary verbs. And these are sentence examples of verbs. For action, she runs every morning. The action verb in that sentence is run. Another example would be he jumps every day. The verb in this sentence is jumps. That is an example of an action verb. Now, linking verb. He is tired. He will go to school to today. Now, in this sentence, we have will. Will functions as a linking verb, helping to join he, which is the subject, with the rest of the actions going on in the sentences. Now, helping verbs, they have finished their work. Now, let's go into regular and irregular verbs. For regular verbs, they form their past tense by adding ed or d to them. For example, the past tense of walk is walked, the past tense of play is played, the past tense of dance is danced. Now, for irregular verbs, they do not follow a consistent rule when forming their past tense or they shift into other variations. They conjugate, they inflect. Now, conjugation and inflection in English is when a word changes form while moving from one tense to the other. For example, go changes to went, eat changes to eat, see changes to saw for past tense. That is the difference between regular and irregular verbs. One of the difference, actually. Now, for verb tenses, we have present tense, past tense, and future tense. As the name implies, present tense refers to actions that are happening right now. Past tense refers to actions that happened before. Future tense tends to actions that the subject plans to do at a later time. Now, look at the examples we have here. I write a letter is for present tense. Write is the verb in its present form. Past tense, I wrote a letter. Wrote is verb in its past form. I will write a letter is I will write is the verb in its future form. Will write. So that's an example of verb tenses. Now let's go to phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are simply verbs combined with another part of speech, usually a preposition or an adverb, and the meaning is often idiomatic. For example, give up, look after, run out of, sit down, sit up, run towards. These are phrasal verbs. Now, let's jump into the functions of verbs. Now, verbs serve several important functions in different sentences. The first and the most important function of a verb, pardon me, is to express action. Verbs show what the subject does. For example, the boy runs fast. The boy is the subject in the sentence, Runs is the action boy is performing. The second is to express a state of being. Verb is was. The verbs like is, was, seem describe a condition or a state. She is tired. She was tired. She seems distressed. He seems distressed. Those are verbs that express a state of being. Now, for forming tenses, verb change to show time. Just like I said before, verbs conjugate for past, present, and future tenses. For example, he eats breakfast, past. He has eaten, he will eat his breakfast, future. Those are types of verbs that conjugate, that change form, or that move from one form to the other to show their tense being changed. Now, verbs also agree with subjects. Now, verb change to match the subject in number and person. She runs, they run. That's a singular subject with plural verb, plural subject, singular verb. That is verbs changing their particular form in some ways by adding s or es to support the subject. We can either be singular or plural. Now, verbs also create voices. Verbs are used in active and passive voice. For example, the dog chased the cat is an active voice. The cat was chased by the dog is a passive voice. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will see you again. Bye for now.